Hi there, everyone. It is currently the 8th of February 2015, and being the 8th of February, the tropics definitely not what you expect out here actually right now, because we have a tropical storm, Higos, spinning here just towards the east of Guam on this map. If you're unsure, this is Guam right here. This is our tropical system. Philippines over here towards the east, and this is really wrapping up actually quite decently today. I would not be surprised if in one of the newest updates from the Japan Meteorological Agency, a severe tropical storm. Right now, pressure about 996 HPA, winds of 40 gusting to 60 knots. So it is up there. I mean, it's not at the minimum for a tropical storm strength. They do have it intensifying. Even in the forecast, they do actually bring it up to a severe tropical storm status, with pressure dropping down to 975 and winds of 60 gusting to 85 knots. So just shy of typhoon strength. Now, as far as the forecast track, still they kind of have it wobbling here and moving off towards the northwest. Actually, the National Weather Service and the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, very similar type of track. Remember Guam and Saipan over here towards the west. All these islands, actually, most of them are uninhabited volcanic islands, so not too worried if this does track farther off towards the north. But it kind of goes on that westerly track here, basically following and behind a trough passing off there towards the north and a high pressure a little bit farther there towards the west. Now, if we go back to the satellite imagery I started off with here, you can even see that high approaching from the north. That's what all these open cell cumulus is indicating, that cold surge coming down. And then you have these lines kind of in the upper atmosphere flowing off here towards the northeast. Those are the upper level clouds off the northern periphery of this, providing exhaust and allowing this to intensify. But the thing is, once you get this shear line being indicated right here on the satellite imagery, once that starts to come in and has a direct impact on our storm system, it will lose a lot of its organization. And really, I expect over the course of the next about 48 hours, this is going to be a shell of its former self. Now, it really is intensifying, though, and even an eye looks like it's developing rapidly, consolidating right around the center of circulation. So, if some of the agencies do upgrade it, good news. It's well over the water. Now, I know we're going to have people from the Philippines saying, is it going to hit us? I mean, why not ask that question? Because we do have a tropical system here, and as we know in the past, we've had tropical system track due west along the southern periphery of the West, pack high, and come over like that. That is not going to be the case. I can't stress that enough with this one. The only way this could turn towards the west is if it combated vertical wind shear coming in from the north, moved over the Marianas, and then came back down towards the southeast. So I know there's a lot of scarecasters out there that are saying Higos could push off there towards the Philippines. Highly, highly unlikely. Now, there is another area we're keeping an eye on. I'll talk on that in a second here. But for now, let's just mention Tropical Storm Higos moving off towards the northwest. This is with the ECMWF model. And basically, as you can see here, I'll get rid of the winds, and the winds kind of show you that circulation flowing around. But the reason is, let's just pull up the precipitation and leave that on the screen, and it just loses all of its organization. A lot of the precipitation gets pulled off here towards the northeast. You can pull up the cloud cover to overlay on this, and what we're going to be seeing is this just getting stretched out as that shear continues to interact with it. So here's the shear tendency forecast with the higher amounts farther off here towards the north, and once this flows into that, it's kind of like blowing out a candle. It knocks it over towards the side. So that's really what we're going to be watching over the course of the next 24 to 48 hours. I know I put out this graphic here on Saturday, possibility of the storm taking a more southerly track over towards Guam and parking there, just because it has not stayed on more of a westerly progression. It's moving sort of towards the west-northwest at this time. I don't think this is going to happen. The more likely scenario is the one here towards the right. If it does come out here towards the Marianas, it's going to be on the northern periphery of the island. It'll be much, much weaker by that time frame. So this is the NavGem we are currently looking at, the weather forecast model from the U.S. military. And the thing is, okay, here we go. We have our storm system that gets tore apart and kind of pushes off there towards the northeast. Now, in the long range, this model picks up on a new low, regenerating with some of that convection down here towards Palau and drifting off here towards the west. That's the other area I think everybody's really keeping a very close eye on, because the models do kind of generate this. GFS, totally separate case, but it also has something kind of popping up down here. And we're talking about the 17th into the 18th, not even on my on this time frame listed with this particular model. We have to look into the excessive long range with a couple other platforms beyond a week out to see what these models are picking up. And the key thing to know is when we're talking about long range models, unless there is a lot of evidence and there's just aggression from each one, I don't see anything to worry about at this time, because right now we have a couple models that are picking up on a cluster of storms a week and a half from now. It's just not a lot in February. On top of that, we're going to keep a close eye on it, and if anything, it could be a big rainmaker next week in the long range. So yeah, that's really what everybody's been watching today. I just wanted to point that out since I know that we had a few questions on it. For now, I think you can all rest easy. This one, if you are in Guam, it is going to bring up some gusty winds. I know the Guam National Weather Service has already issued some marine warnings, some high surf advisories along the eastern coastlines. But for the most part, this should just stay to your east. It's really just going to be nothing more than a windy day with the northeast monsoon, unless this drastically changes and it stays farther towards the south and we get a strengthening storm, which just because of the vertical wind shear I'm seeing off here towards the north, I really don't think that's going to happen. But that is all for right now, everybody. Thanks again for watching here at westernpacificweather.com. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can always post them down there in the comment box below. I always appreciate everybody's feedback. Really do like it when you guys post comments. And at least at this time, 6.5 minutes in, just let me know that you are still watching. All right, guys. Thanks.